Hey guys, it's Richard from Grafting Dragon Fruits, and welcome back to how to grow dragon fruit from cutting to fruit. So it's been about 30 days, 35 days since the last update, and if you guys been following along, I did the regular watering, I tied up the main branch to the post, and all of the extra shoots that we had, I cut it off. So we already did that part. If you guys haven't seen that yet, go ahead and check out the last episode to see what I did, so that way you can get to this point and follow along. So now that we have been making a lot of good progress with our cuttings here, you know I like to train one main branch to climb the trellis, and this is the post, and as they grow, I'm continuing to tie the main branch to the post so that way they can train to grow upright, and once they get up there, I'm going to show you guys what I do next, okay? But since we are focusing on tying the main branch, I do have my garden tape. This looks like it's still loose. This looks like it's still loose. So we're gonna tighten them up all together, okay? And the reason for that is if the dragon fruits feel like they have support, they are sturdy, then they will grow up straight without a problem. But if you kind of just leave them hanging out like this, they sometimes curl and grow in the directions you don't want. So the earlier you can get the tying, the better it is for your dragon fruit. So that's what I'm gonna do today. I like to just tie it first, and then I will start to adjust the cuttings to how I would like it. So here we go. So this one. Okay, so the goal is to have two main branch grow through this top and another two main branch grow through this top. So that way you have two on each side. So when they umbrella out, it will be even and you won't have that many overlapping each other. All right. So now that you have secured all of your main branches to your post, you have one main branch, remove all of the lower growth. That doesn't matter. Those are just NHG suckers, because what really matters are the growth on top. And if you remember from last episode, I tipped this one here, and this is white sapphire, and the growth is very young, but now look at how much they've grown, and they are starting to kind of do the umbrella canopy out already. But with these guys, they haven't been topped yet. So it's called cropping the top, and trust the process, you guys, because once you cut that top, it can be very scary because you think that you ruined your plant, you think that it's not gonna grow no more and it's the end of the world, but that's not the case, you guys. Once you cut it, what it does is it stimulates some hormones called auxins, and those auxins will now trigger new growth to climb out of these are called areoles or nodes, these little spikes here. Each of these spikes has potential to grow a new branch, a new flower bud, so that way it can continue to thrive. So don't worry, okay, you guys? Trust the process and you guys will have amazing results just like me. So here we go. I have my trusty clippers here. I like to use this one because it kind of opens range for bigger cuttings like this. And this is my Isis yellow here, and this is my Thai gold, and they look very similar to each other, but I've been just kind of leaving them like this so then they can keep growing upright. I will use this to either graft or root into another cutting. So today's the day to crop the top, so let's go ahead and get to it, you guys. Here is my Isis yellow. You're gonna want at least 4 to 6 inches of new growth to grow to the top of your canopy starting from here, and you wanted to remove enough where you're leaving about 1 to 2 inches so that way it has the length to grow its canopy. So about 1 to 2 inches. Here's our canopy starting here, so I'm gonna cut about right here. So here we go. Just gonna carefully snip, bend if you need to, and that's it, you guys. So I have this piece here. It's a little too young to root, but you can always try to do so. But in my case, I'm gonna use this to graft because I know it's just gonna grow way quicker that way. And I'll be either using a cleft graft because it's pretty big, and cleft grafts usually do very well. And if you guys wanna learn about grafting, go check out my YouTube channel to see how you do the grafting portions, okay? So I'm just gonna leave this aside so I don't get them mixed up. Same thing with this one. This is the Thai gold here, and it has a good and significant amount of growth, and I want to cut the same thing. Here is about 1 or 2 inches of length on top, and we're just going to basically copy the other one. Here I go. Don't worry if it's not a nice cut, guys. It will heal when the sun comes out and everything will be all right. So another piece for me to use as a cleft graft. So our last one here, I left this to grow not too big, just to show you guys that they don't technically have to grow 4 to 6 inches above the trellis, but I like to do so because why waste plant material? I like to grow them so I can use them as more cuttings in the future. But if you can't wait, just like me when I first started and I was very excited to see my canopy develop, you can technically cut them at this stage. So this is about only 1 inch of growth over. This is Sour Patch Kids, and you can do the same thing. Instead of cutting 2 to 4 inches off, you're gonna want to cut so that there is only enough for it to start umbrellaing out. If you cut it too short, it's gonna be a little short. So for this one, in a special case, I would cut only that much. When removing this much, it's still considered cropping the top, you guys. The only difference is it's just a way smaller scion. So this here and this here is the same thing. You're still cropping the top, but this I can use later for a cutting, for grafting material. This is too young. I would just toss something like this away. But the result of it is still going to be the same. They're still going to grow new branches out of here and out of here. So then they will start to umbrella out just like this. And soon you're gonna see them start just having this beautiful umbrella canopy that everybody wants on their dragon fruit. And if you guys see behind me, that's the results that you guys will get. So now that we finish with cropping the top, you're gonna be stimulating auxin hormones, and now new growth are gonna just be blowing up like crazy. And as they grow, and next update, I'll show you guys the new growth, what we do to prepare them, to train them down if any are growing stubbornly up. There's ways for me that I can show you guys what I use, some fishing tools or even garden tape to tape it down to train those branches in the future. But in this episode, we're just gonna focus on topping them, and now we're just gonna feed them. So if you guys been following the routine, I have been telling you guys to use fertilizer like Florinova Grow, and in between your fertilizer, you guys wanna use regular water. So I would use this for one feeding, and the next time to feed, I would use regular water, nothing in it. And now that it's time for me to feed again, my routine now is to go back to fertilizer because my last feeding was just regular plain water. So now I'm gonna use the Florinova Grow. So Florinova Grow, this stuff works like magic, you guys. And it always tells you to shake vigorously. The price I buy it for is about $72. So it is pricey stuff, but works very well and lasts a very long time. So give me some time to shake this vigorously, just like the bottle says. I think that is enough. So we want about 1.5 teaspoons per gallon of this, okay? So let me go get my little measuring cup. So I'm gonna show you guys how I measure it up. Okay, so I like to use measuring cup like this. You can also use measuring spoons. It's up to you, but since I'm mixing a 5-gallon right here, it's quicker for me to use something like this. So for 1.5 teaspoon per 5-gallon, I'm gonna need about 7.5 teaspoons, okay? So I'm just gonna look at my measurements here, look for the teaspoons. I see it. And we're right about the 7.5 mark. So we're gonna go ahead, pour this in. And once you get your hose, you're gonna wanna rinse everything out in there and put it back in to here, so you're not wasting any of those valuable nutrients that's gonna help your plants. And this here is Recharge. So this is a microbe that I like to use. It helps with replacing beneficial bacteria, and it helps your roots digest nutrients and even give it vigorous growth. I cut the bag, but this is what it looks like. If you guys been following along, this is what's in this jar here. So I'm gonna need about 2.5 teaspoons of this. It's 1/2 teaspoon per gallon. So we're gonna do 2.5 tablespoons. That will equal to 1/2 teaspoon per gallon. Just like that. And that is all I used. That's the 2. Now we just mix everything up with water. Remember to rinse this up. And here we go. Remember to make sure you mix it really well. Here is the cup that I had. Make sure you get all of that in there. You guys see that I'm stirring it as I'm filling up the water. Make sure all of that is stirred very well. even into the bottom. So I'll just leave that in there to get all of the segments in the bottom to mix very well with the water here. Halfway there. Okay, once all of your nutrients is mixed up, so I like to wait about 10 minutes for all of the fertilizer to mix well with the water and the recharge to go ahead and mechanize in there. But for the sakes of this video, I don't really wait, and it still kind of gives me the same results. But if you can, do the waiting, because it just makes it more balanced and the water's mixed evenly in there. So here's my famous tabo. This is what I like to use to feed my dragon fruits. So, you guys are probably wondering, I get this question a lot, when do I use the Flora Nova Bloom? So Flora Nova Grow only helps with growing. It has higher nitrogen, so all it does is speeds the growth and makes your plants really strong, and it just helps it with the greening, the growing, the girth, and all that. Once these branches get mature, once we have the umbrella, the mature branches are what's going to stimulate bud growth, the flower where it makes the fruit. When we get to that point, I'll show you when to use the bloom fertilizer, and that fertilizer will just create so many buds. But we're at the grow stage right now, so we're going to be using grow all the way until we are ready. Okay, guys? So here's our mixture. It's ready. Just going to give it a little nice toss. And now we're just going to give it a nice feeding, guys. So Flora Nova Grow. I'm going to do about 4 scoops of this tabo that I have here. Or until you see water run out, then you know you're ready. So how do you know how much to put in? I always just put in enough until I see it start to run out. So that should be good. About 4 to 5 scoops for me works, and then I'll use the rest on the other plants that will be need feeding. And that's it, you guys. So hope you guys found that helpful, and you guys are following along growing this trellis with me. And I hope you guys have your trellis also set up like this and using the fertilizer I'm using. And if you guys are, you guys will get the same results that we will be having. So by the end of this season, or hopefully by next season, we'll get some fruits. So if you guys thought this video was helpful, please hit the like button. If you guys have any questions at all, please put in the comments below and I'll get back to you guys as soon as I can. And if you guys want to see more grafting and dragon fruit videos of mine, please hit the subscribe button so that way you guys won't miss a single thing. Have a wonderful day now. Bye, guys.